Hello and welcome to Dual Enrollment History Final. We're here with Jordan Brock, who plays George in American Dream. Can you tell us about the movie?
Yeah, it follows the life of a man named Roger who's born in the Progressive Era, and it goes all the way to World War II.
From what I heard, there's a lot of historical events in the movies. How are those presented?
There actually are a lot. The director and the producer took this movie and they just added it through the time period, so you'll see it periodically and the way the events occurred.
And what are some of those events?
I don't want to ruin the movie, but there are some events like the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, the New Deal, just kind of things like that.
Alright, and I heard that you have some of the newest and best actors.
You won't even notice that some of them are women because we had the top makeup artist.
Sounds great. Alright, and for all of you today, we have a special treat because you are going to be the first to view American Dream before it hits theaters around the world.
Margaret Stevens,
Yes, sir?
I'm sorry to inform you of this, but your husband has been killed in action.
My father died the day I was born, and my mama did the best she could to provide for the two of us. She got a job at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, and things were finally looking up, until the factory burnt down and brought my mama with it. I was sent to live with Aunt Ann and Cousin Peter. Aunt Ann put the two of us to work in the coal mines.
Listen up, you scoundrels! Just because the Wobblies and Muckrakers are fighting for your freedom doesn't mean they're gonna win!
Ow, my finger!
Sir, his finger! Get back to work! Was it attached to your body?
But, sir, my finger.
You can either get back to work or you can go home and tell your mom you don't have money for bread.
It's terrible what happened to Tim for a fellow.
On this day, June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the throne of Austria, has been shot dead. A declaration of war is expected against Serbia. Also, President Woodrow Wilson speaks out on the incident and afterwards Jim Crow laws and if they will remain part of society.
At least we got nothing to worry about.
I tell you, boys, this war is nothing but trouble. George Washington once said, "Don't get involved with those Europeans," but look where it's gotten us. War has begun in Europe, and now it's spreading like wildfire. Here, Peter, here's the shopping list. You might want to get some supplies before the rations start.
Alright, Mama.
Guys!
Calm down, Liz. What's wrong?
Did you hear about the Zimmerman telegram? Those filthy Germans were plotting to turn the Spanish against us. You won't let that happen, right, Roger? I mean, your daddy died fighting the Spanish. You won't let anything happen, right?
Let me see that, Liz. Oh, she's right. Look here, Roger. It says here that Woodrow Wilson's asking Congress for a declaration of war. You may get your chance to fight with Lizzie after all.
Oh, I love you guys!
Peter seemed so sure that everything was going to be fine, but I had a feeling we were going to be dragged into something that none of us wanted to be a part of.
Trench is 1 mile north. We're going to go up and then...
Get down! Get down! Grab her gun! Grab her gun! Dearest Roger, an awful lot has changed since you left. Over in Russia, the Bolsheviks overthrew the government, and now they have some type of socialist state. Lots of stuff is changing around here too. Everything is American. Those hamburgers you used to love down at Al's? Well, now you have to call them Liberty sandwiches. The government also passed some type of espionage act to make sure everyone's for the war effort. Aunt Anne personally thinks they need to stay out of our business, but she's always been stubborn, you know. We both miss you two so much, and we're praying for your safe return. Love always, Elizabeth.
Over the top, boys.
I love you, cuz.
See you on the other side.
Watch out, Roger!
Peter! Peter, why'd you do that?
Roger, you have a girl back home. Take care of me.
No!
Attention, boys. Treaty of Versailles has been signed. You're going home.
Hi, you're home! Hi!
Wait, where's Peter?
Let's go.
What? No.
After losing Peter, I realized how useless the war really was. We had nothing to gain, but everything to lose. Lizzie saw Peter's death as eye-opening. She decided that she wanted to be a part of something big, so she became a suffragette and a mighty good one at that. Soon after the 19th Amendment passed on August 18th, 1920, I proposed to her, and she said yes. We got married a few months later at a local church. We had a son named George. Some people thought it was a bit fast, but we were both so caught up in the fast times of the 20s.
Congratulations, Roger. You've sold the most stocks out of anybody here. Keep it up. Things could be looking up for you.
Thank you, sir. I'll try my best. See you tomorrow.
Helen, I absolutely adore your new car.
Isn't it lovely? Charles bought it on credit.
I wish Roger would buy us a car. He's been just so busy with work, he's lucky that he even got a job in the city. You know, my poor Uncle Joe has been having such a hard time as a farmer since they don't eat all that food anymore.
What a shame.
Freeze! Use a hockey test for boy.
What are you doing with this man?
The Immigration Act of 1924 has been passed, and this man here is under violation.
Sir, I'd like to make a withdrawal,
The bank's closed.
but I just left work early. Can't be with.
The stock market crashed. There's nothing left.
But I have a family to take care of. A son.
Just like you and the last 100 people who've come by, there's nothing left.
Oh, honey, you're home. You know, I was talking to Helen this afternoon, and they got a new car. Can we please get a new car? I mean, I know you've been doing so well with stocks
We don't have
lately.
any money.
That's silly talk.
We have nothing left.
George, will you please leave the room so your father and I can speak? Okay, so I know you're very stressed out, and I know you can be a little irrational sometimes, but the money can't be all gone. So about the new car?
It's not that simple.
But Roger...
We have nothing left. No job, no income, no nothing.
Hello.
Hi, I'd like to apply for the CCC.
Well, you seem a bit old, but I'll tell you what, we do have a job open for an instructor.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine.
And your name?
Roger Stevens.
Okay. And we'll get it back to you in about 3 to 5 days.
Okay, thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Next.
Hello. Hi. I'd like to get a job in CCC.
Well, how old are you?
18.
18, okay. And your name?
Antonio Stark.
Antonio, alright. Okay, and why are you coming to the CCC?
Because my mom and pa lost everything in the Dust Bowl.
Okay. And, well, I can tell you that we have some medical benefits, and we have some recreational activities after you work for about 8 hours a day, and you make $30 a month, and 25 of it gets sent home to your family, and you get to keep the other 5.
Alright, sounds good.
Alrighty, we'll get back to you about 3 to 5 days.
Yes! Woo! Woo! Roger!
Lucy, a letter came in from your Uncle Joe. What's it say? My dearest Liz, I'm sorry I haven't been able to wrap for so long, but we lost a lot of the family farm to the Dust Bowl. Thankfully, the AAA gave us subsides if we killed off excess livestock and agreed not to overgrow crops. Don't worry about us. I hope y'all are doing well. I'll write soon, Uncle Joe.
What a shame. It's wonderful that Roger got a job in the CCC.
I know, could you imagine living in one of those Hoovervilles? I mean, thankfully for the FDIC, we can start putting our money back in banks and have a savings again.
Hey guys.
Hey, Roger!
Hi George. Guess what? I got a new job today.
That's great! Where?
General Motors. I'm part of the assembly line. It won't be as much as I was making selling stocks, but in this down depression, it's still a job.
Maybe things will get better. Aww! Hi, how was work today?
It's been all right. The boss has been on edge lately. There's a lot of strikes going on in General Motors. The workers' wives are bringing them supplies and putting it through the windows, so everyone's just on edge.
They've invaded Poland! The Germans have invaded Poland! There's gonna be another war!
Why exactly are we making supplies for them?
It's called a lend and lease, George. We'll give them enough supplies to beat the Germans, then they'll pay us back.
If I was in the war, I'd just kill every German I saw.
War is a terrible thing, George. You don't want to be in it. Only it's the death.
The Japs have attacked American soil! They bombed Pearl Harbor!
George had to sign up for the draft since he was of age, and soon after, he was pulled to go into combat. I wasn't going to let my son live through what I once had, so I volunteered to go with him.
Pacific, Africa, Pacific, Africa.
Sir, you can't split us up.
I send people where they need to be, Lieutenant.
My entire world was torn apart when I was separated from George. I enlisted to protect him, and now we were going to be fighting completely different theaters. I was fighting mindlessly by then. Under the leadership of General Bernard, we were able to defeat General Rommel. All the young men celebrated, but that was because most of them had never seen combat before, and those who survived did so by learning quickly. I only hope George learned quickly. They said things were turning in our favor, and when everyone else was set to storm through Sicily and Italy, I was told by a commanding officer that I was supposed to be sent to Normandy to help with the recapture of France.
Dear Roger, we've all been supporting the war effort so much. They've passed Executive Order 9066, which moves all the Japs together in internment camps. Some of the other girls and I have gone to work in the steel industry in order to get machinery out to you boys as soon as possible. We've also started rationing in neighborhood gardens so y'all have enough supplies. I hope you're doing well. Love, Elizabeth.
Dear Mama and Aunt Anne, I have been fighting in the Pacific, pushing the Japs back to where they belong. I haven't seen Pop since basic training, but I've been successful enough out here. We've won the Battle of Coral Sea, ending the Japanese invasion of Port Moresby. We are now on to the Battle of Midway. Wish us luck. Yours truly, George.
If you did make it past the beach, there's no promise that you would survive afterwards.
Listen, as soon as you can leave, go. War is no place for a man.
You're gonna be okay.
Leave me here.
No,
Tell my family I love them.
I won't leave you.
You have to.
I won't. Davy!
No!
While I was holding the Germans off in their final offensive attempt at the Battle of the Bulge, George was further pushing back Japan through island hopping. Who would have thought that's where it would end? Soon after, the Germans surrendered and 2 atomic bombs were dropped on Japan. If we had both pushed a little bit longer, we'd be together right now.